Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Cake Radio Show. I am the CakeDive, and I hope you guys are doing well. Because today we are going to be discussing more music. Yeah, I love the music talk. I love discussing music now, so we're going to keep talking about it. And for those who listened to my last episode, I was talking about I was talking about Cardi B and how she's scared of releasing an album. And I know if you guys listen to that episode, by the way, go listen to that episode and the previous episodes I put out, by the way. I directly mentioned that I would be doing an episode talking about Ice Spice. And this is the episode because the girls are turning on Ice Spice. And this video was at recommendation of two of my friends who are big Ice Spice fans, and we I wanted to give it the girls what they wanted. Sit them down and give them an episode talking about how I feel about Ice Spice and stuff like that. So for those who know me personally and have had discussion with me about my thoughts on Ice Spice, they very much know like how I feel about Ice Spice, and they know that it hasn't changed over time. For me, it's like the music is cute, especially up until I would say the music was cute up until like the EP came out. The music was cute. Everyone was talking about, oh, like it's fun music for the girls. It's music for when you're in your mood. Da 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 da. And consistently, this has never changed. But I've always felt like because of the fact that Ice Spice herself has said that she wants to be in the music industry for the long haul, then I have held her to the standard of, okay, you want to be in this industry, we have to sort of continue to see growth. We need to see growth here, and I wasn't spotting growth from her both sonically and both performance wise. But the thing that, and my friends can attest to this, the thing that I was really dinging her for a long time was her performances. Her performances were not giving. She did not have stage presence. She was not doing the things. But like, and even then, like again, we're not asking for much. And the girls always are like mixed on, oh, like, does she have to have stage presence? Well, yeah, she should have stage presence. But they're like, oh, like, these male rappers don't have to have stage presence and da 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 da. But yes, we are in a very sexist world where, especially in the world of hip hop and rap, where the men get to lay back and do nothing, but the girls are held to a higher standard. That is unfortunate. Yes, but for me personally, they ain't got nothing to do with it. For me personally, it's like, yeah, I might get the men too. Like the men don't have no stage presence either, but they should. And the like he she again, like, even I'm not asking for much in terms of her as an artist, because again, like, if you look at other female rappers, like, you could take some of her peers, like you could take Glorilla, you could take some of the people who are like up there in the game, like Nicki Minaj, like Megan Thee Stallion now. Like, you can look at them and you see, okay, like they've at some point have had stage presence. Megan has consistently had stage presence. Nicki Minaj and Nicki Minaj. But the thing, like, again, it's like, but okay, like, I'm asking for stage presence, and for me, I think it would be great if you had both strong music and both strong stage presence. But obviously, regardless of the genre, regardless of the artist, male, man or woman, you know, the the thing is, you really could get by doing one or the other. You could be a performer and not have that strong of a music catalog, or you could have a really strong music catalog but not be that good of a performer. Take Jennifer Lopez for example. Like, the girls, like, well, I don't know where I was gonna go with that. Jennifer Lopez, that's not a good example because I don't think she's good at either. Let's move on and pick a different example. um hmm like this is such a random example, but you could take some of the singers, like a girl, those singers, like Adele has a very strong music catalog, but she isn't necessarily a performer. Like you're not seeing her running around and doing all this stuff because she's a singer and people are there to see her like perform and sing the music. You could take someone like Pink, for example. You know, that lady, you be seeing the videos of her jumping around and swinging all up in the air and stuff, and she barely got the catalog. She barely got the catalog that'd be worn in that, but she be having fun, so I can't say too much on that. Like, you could even take Beyonce for example. For the longest, as she started out, like the music was good, and people are going back and like but love that music that she started out with, but for the longest time, like she was known to be more of a performer than like a full-on singer. Like people were tuning in and gagging at the performances rather than the music consistently. And then it's now we're kind of at the stage. Granted, I think it started transitioning over time. I would say by the four era, she transitioned to being more balanced. Um, Now she's like beloved for both the music and the performances. Ice Spice has neither, and that's the problem. Like the thing, like people are like the thing is like people are talking to me as if she has one or the other. She does not have either. The music is cute, but the music isn't good. Like the music is something that's cute for you, you know, like it's very much the vibe of like, oh, like you sit in the car with your girls, y'all talking, and like y'all going outside, y'all are having a vibe, and this is a cute song to put on the track. But it's not the only songs you should put on the track. Like these aren't like. And then you look at the performances, and the performances. Now I will give her this: her best performance yet has been her most recent Coachella performance when she was doing her Coachella performance. I thought that she did a pretty good job with that performance, in all honesty. But up until that point, the performances have not been good, and a lot of people were giving her, like I feel like a lot of people were giving, like not even a lot of people. I feel like everyone who is willing to ride for Ice Spice, and I'm not coming in this video as a hater by any means, but I'm just explaining my stance on her before we dig into, you know, the why of it all. I feel like everyone, including people close to me who have like defended Ice Spice against me criticizing that stage presence, has said, oh, like she's a new artist, like she just busted off the scene, like she exploded onto the scene, and you know, like she's brand new. They just kind of like she exploded. She had to immediately run onto festivals and do performances and stuff like that. She was not gonna have stage presence. Like she should have time. Okay, so then a year passes and there's still no stage presence. Another year passes and there's still no stage presence. Then another year passes and there is a little bit of stage presence. So like, do we usually like other artists? Like again, like usually people when they explode on the scene and they have momentum are willing to like immediately start working on and having the discipline to, you know, improve and continue to get people like hopeful. And even the girls who like do that still get flack or don't get attention. Like y'all remember the Chloe Bailey episode I did? Yeah, girl, that lady has some of the strongest stage presence of a new artist in our time, and people are still holding her. You know, so people are still dragging her, not necessarily because of the music and not because of that, but because she's quote unquote doing too much. Because of them weird, when some of them quirky videos that she was doing on the bed with a lollipop back in the day, y'all need to let that go. But that's not the topic of this video. um, Ice Spice is giving a little bit too much flack, and like she's giving too much slack for a artist of her caliber. And for me, and I never told this to people because I did not want to get, you know, cussed out by the people who love Ice Spice. But she kind of is giving, she for me, like if the stage presence doesn't continue, if like the growth both in the music and in the stage presence doesn't improve, she's gonna be a flash in the pan. That's just how it is. Like it doesn't matter what she is saying in these interviews, saying that she wants to be here for as long as possible. She wants to continue to be like, she wants to be a household name. If you don't put in the work, you cannot be a household name, and that's all there is to it. And she's been given a lot of flowers and given a lot of slack, and a lot of attention. She's been given a lot of supports too. And if she doesn't build on that, then it's like, what's the point? Then we get dig into the music, and this kind of also this will lead into, why people are turning to Ice Spice, because the just for explanation, people are turning on Ice Spice because these last two singles for her Y2K album have not really been doing well. Like people dragged the fart song because they don't understand, like they did not like the lyrics, like they thought the lyrics were very bad, and the newer song she put out, what was it called? It was like "Give Me a Light." It didn't even chart on the charts at all. Like the girls was talking about how she didn't chart on the charts at all, because her previous involvement with Nicki Minaj has brought her in the circle of discussion of charts, since they all care about charts for some reason, unless they fave doesn't perform well on the charts, then it doesn't matter. And for me, like before we even dig into the catalog stuff like that, for me, the reason why I feel like the newer music off of this album rollout has not been clicking with people as much as like her other songs have is, well, first of all, we have to be mindful as to how Ice Spice has performed in the charts. Ice Spice has never really had much like she's been successful in the charts, but she hasn't been. You would think the way people are discussing her as a flop, you would think that she is like a number one Billboard Hot 100 artist, um, and has like been blowing up on the charts for real. But and again, y'all know this if y'all been listening to the show. I'm not a charts girl until the girls bring up the charts. So then it's like, okay, let me pull these up and like show y'all. She hasn't really had like for the most part, like the highest she's really been has been in the top 10. She hasn't been anything higher beyond the top 10, which is good. I'm not saying that that's bad at all. Like the girls will say that's bad, but for me, I feel like if you debut within the top 100, you have a good song. You have a hit song, at least within the debut. And that definitely goes against the grain, because a lot of people when they talk about charts are like, oh, you must debut top one, top spot on the top 100, or you need to debut within the top 10, or else you flop, and then you got to keep doing TikTok trends to try to hope that the song has some longevity, and if not, then you just a flop, period. And then if you bubbling under 100, and you like a super flop, and everyone should ridicule you and throw tomatoes at you. But like that's too much. Y'all kind of crazy for that. Ice Spice has always debuted like at the highest within the top, like near the top 10, if not top 20, and or below. And not to say that that's a bad thing, because again, if we're going by the new artist allegations, like she is a new artist, and that's like fairly good. That is fairly strong. But and out of the two songs in this Y2K rollout, the fart song debuted in like the top 100, I think, if I remember correctly. I think it was like top 60 or something. Whereas, Give Me a Light did not even chart at all. I think the reason that people are not feeling these songs are because both of those songs have a sound by Ice that audiences are not listening to Ice Spice for. For the girls who like Ice Spice, for me, from what I could gather, is that people like Ice Spice for the softer tone, like cute, fun songs that are like, oh, like she in her mood, like, oh, like munch, like it's just kind of like, yes, like it's very simple songs. They are very to the point, but they're like she got a soft voice and it's like she's fun. For the two tracks that we got off the album, for Y2K, the Fire song and the Give Me a Light song both have her doing like a harder rap sound, and it just seems like that's not clicking at all for people. Like that, and I think the like she's trying to do a branding shift here. Like it seems like she is, because like the first song seems to be very much like, oh, like she's trying to shade people, and that song came out during the time in which, you know, for some reason the Barbs specifically, I'm going to explicitly name the Barbs who are being behind this. The Barbs keep trying to make, like, the Barbs are trying to make fetch happen, in the sense that they keep trying to make Ice Spice and Lotto beef with each other, and everyone else, all the normal people are like, why? Like, this don't make no sense. Like, they in the same caliber of like they're not in the same caliber of artistry, but like they both are kind of in the same caliber as to how people treat them. So it's kind of like they should be collabing. Like, y'all just trying to make fetch happen because Lotto's collaborated with Cardi B and had that beef with Nicki Minaj at one time, which they both were stupid for, but no one wants to admit that. So there's that issue, and that came out during the time in which it was like I think it was like Hiss came out, like Megan dropped Hiss during this time. And I think Lotto like was about to drop Sunday Service, and she was like on Instagram Live. She's like, "Oh, like this girl had my music video." She talking about Lotto. She's like, "This girl had my music video in the back while she's previewing her song," and I'm like, "Girl, like, would you like?" She have some issue with it, but it's also like, again, it seems like she was doing too much and she was taking too much out of it because, like, at least for the most part, Lotto has seemed to be one of the girls who was like, "Oh, like I'm not really like talking about you for real." And again, it's also like we have to be mindful of the fact that Lotto doesn't have anything to shade Ice Spice for. Like, so it's like, what are y'all doing? Like, again, it's like very stupid, like proxy beef stuff that they trying to make fetch happen, and I don't think it should happen because it don't make no sense. But nothing makes sense with that stand base. But I'm gonna leave it at that because they gonna try dragging me. Um, so that happened, and the fart song got dragged because it's like, oh, what are these lyrics? Like these lyrics don't make no sense. Like, why are you talking about farts? And then the song charted number 60 while like his debut number 1, and everyone was like, oh, like I thought, like this was back when like Nicki Minaj was trying to like push, well, the Barb specifically, but also Nicki Minaj were trying to push like different songs. So like, but no, Nicki Minaj did not push that Ice Spice song at all. But the Barbs were trying to push it. They were like, "Oh, like we gotta push the song," and they just kind of gave up because it's not a Nicki related song. So there was that. Um, Again, but also I think people who were just casually listening to it just did not like the lyrics. The lyrics were not giving, and they also I just don't think they like that harder rap. And what proves that they did not like that harder rap sound was this new song, "Give Me a Light," that came out, in which when the song was previewed before the song released, like everyone was confused. Like they were like, "Oh, like why is she yelling on the track?" Because she's like, I get like, give me a light." Like she's like, everyone was like, "Why is she yelling on the track?" And it was kind of hilarious because everyone was like, what's she yelling for? Like she don't really need to be yelling on a track like this." And then the poop line came back out on this track, and everyone was like, yeah, she most, I could say this passionately. Like I did, alleged. Well, she. This is my opinion. There's not no truth. There's no truth to this fart, but she most definitely has some sort of fart or poop fetish. Like there's no way that she is doing this like with every song at this point, and it's just not like there's nothing hidden underneath. But this not, there ain't no weight to this. This is all alleged. That's an alleged beat drop that I'm gonna give y'all. Cause what? Um, and the song didn't chart, and everyone's calling Ice Spice a flop now. Um, and I think that the reason that is, well, is one, the harder rap sound. Two, I think people are not clicking with the lyrics anymore. And I mean, three, I think it's also just because of the fact that like when people like we are in an era of like artists in which people can turn on you really quickly, and you have to make sure that you're like continue like you're maintaining the branding and integrity that you have as a person. And I feel like Ice Spice has kind of struggled with that. Like she has continued kind of doing the like the cute like brand stuff, and like the cute stuff that she's been doing. She's been doing brand collaborations, so it's not like she hasn't like completely disappeared at all or anything like that. She was doing red carpets and stuff like that, so she's been in the public eye. um but I think that one, I think her trying to transition with this Y2K era into like a harder, like bolder person, like she's kind of trying to go like the Nicki route, in which it's like, oh, like I'm that girl, like these other girls ain't got nothing on me. Like that's not the route that she should go for, and I think that's not the route. I think that's the route that like people did not want her to go into, because I remember like people when she first came on the scene were really loving, like they loved Ice Spice and were willing to ride for her. Not even because of the music or because of like anything else, but it was purely because she was giving off the personality of like a girl's girl. Like it's like, oh, like she was supporting everybody, she was rooting for everybody. Like she is her, like it's her and everybody else. Like she was kind of like it was given like she was in the table and she wanted everybody to eat. And that is something that I feel like a lot of people were willing to like root for her for and had a lot of respect for. And I personally had a lot of respect for her for that moment too, because it was giving that like, oh, like this is like these new girls, like outside of the handful of new girls who have fallen into proxy beefs, you know, as a result of like Nicki Minaj and Cardi, for the most part, these new girls like fairly respect each other. But it's like now it's kind of like, now it's like we've lost the plot because now it's like what is Ice Spice versus Lotto apparently, then it's um JT versus like everybody because she's saying Sukiana ain't no city girl, you a shitty girl, and your man wanna come to the coochie world. Yeah. So she going against Suki, she going against uh Santana and Carisha, she going against Megan, like she going against everybody, man. Like everybody trying to fight each other, and it's like we just hear like we want y'all to collab with each other and make some good music. Like that's what we here for. And I think Ice Spice has completely forgot that, especially with this transition with this Y2K era. Um, and I think it's also just the fact that like again, people will turn on people quick, and I feel like there always was moments in which people wanted to turn on Ice Spice. Like I remember when she first came on the scene with Munch and like Bikini Bottom and stuff like that. Like we all remember when all the male YouTubers who were like doing corny music discourse on YouTube and like Twitch were doing them like 1 hour think pieces talking about why they personally did not like Ice Spice and why they thought Ice Spice was an industry plant and why Ice Spice was giving these things and why Ice Spice wasn't gonna make it. And it's like she just came on the scene, like y'all ain't let her breathe a little bit, like let her cook a little bit at least to see how she gonna go. That was how I'm feeling. I'm like, I'm not gonna do a video or anything on her because like because I thought she was like good. At least she was starting to like. I was also waiting for her to cook. I was waiting to see if she was going to display growth and stuff like that. And now we're kind of at this like we're at this pivotal moment in her career where it's like, where will she go next? So where would I want her to go next? Well, I don't know how she's handling the album. Like I don't know if she like turned the album in and she's like actually doing this rollout, or if she's gonna like if her label or whatever is going to tell her to try to transition back to like a different sound. But I feel like she should try transitioning, or at least she should try transitioning back to like that softer sound, or put out a single that has that softer like rap sound. Because I don't think she should scrap these tracks by any means. I think like I'm curious to see what the vision is for this Y2K album. But but if she does drop another single before the release of the album, she definitely should drop a track that's like a softer sounding track to try to get the girls to be like, oh, like this, like Ice Spice is still here. Because the thing is, like the marketing for these songs have been fairly good. Like the music videos, especially for "Give Me the Light," look really cute. But and like I loved what she did with "Give Me a Light," in which it was like she in New York she had the like the car that was like stationed at like in one of the streets, and you could scan the QR code to pre-save the song, and it literally was just like a pink car with smoke coming out of it. Because you know, Hotbox like Give Me a Light, like you know, like she has been having the coin, like she has been doing these marketing things, and it has been serving, but the songs just haven't been serving. So hopefully she get her next single on the album, you know, hits it off better than the last two. And now that I think about it, she should not try scrapping this version of the album. I think we should see it through and see what she's cooking up. But you know, if she puts this album out and it's not giving, you know, she. I mean, obviously there's like label things she could fall into the ether. Who knows? But she definitely should like put out singles and then possibly put out another EP or put out another album after Y2K that returns to basics, returns to basics, because but returns back to that softer sound that the girls really are hip and tuning into her for. Additionally, I think she should stop being mean. Like, she needs to take a step back and work with, like, I don't know if her team is just handling marketing or like what, but like she needs to get a team or somebody together to like make sure that she can take a step back and realize like why people supported her. Like, she's trying to enter this space in which she's like, oh, she can sun people, and she really can't. Like, she is not the girl for that, respectfully. Like, that's no, like, I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful in any means. It's just that, like, you, ma'am, you have to be a girl's girl. Like, it's kind of like girl's girl or die, almost. Like, it's kind of like you kind of have to be nice and be like, you gotta support the girls, because like that'll be a better way to impact your career, instead of shading the girls and then the girls gonna turn on you, and it's like, okay, who else do I have left? Because don't forget that one lady who, I don't know why I'm not gonna name her, because she is very much like mentally ill and has been crashing out on Twitter. Like, that one lady on Twitter, y'all know who I'm talking about, but she was posting like threads on like different people. She did Aaliyah's Interlude, she did Ice Spice, she did Nicki Minaj, and did a couple other people too, because she, like, I don't know what was going on with her, but she very clearly has been suffering with some sort of mental illness and is like lashing out at people for attention. I hope that lady that I'm talking about, who will not be named, seeks help out, because people were trying to give her help, and she was mad and lashed out at people because they handled it like the way they did. But I hope that she does get help. I hope that she, is able to like find peace, because the jealousy and the anger and stuff that she has is like not the move. But she did do a thread on Ice Spice saying that, like, oh, like, allegedly Riot was dating Ice Spice, and that allegedly, not even, well, is it alleged? Because, like, well, I'm putting alleged on there because I'm not trying to get hit with no legal stuff. Allegedly, Ice Spice, like, fell out with Nicki Minaj following the release of Barbie World, because, Nicki Minaj was allegedly trying to sign her to her label, and was also like giving her issue when working on songs with her. So again, this circles back, and like, again, the Barbs were also trying to turn on her once Cardi B was in that Ray Monte conversation, and Ice Spice popped in the conversation trying to act cute, and Cardi B was like, oh, by the way, can you post that photo of us at the Met Gala that you took with your camera? And she did that. So if she loses the Barb vote, who else does she have? Because she does not have, like, she kind of just has her handful of fans. Like, if you're trying to beef with like other artists and shade other artists, and they're not gonna try to collaborate with you, so then you like, then it's kind of like because you really don't hate them for real. You're just kind of trying to shade them because you think you can shade them and you think you could take it, but it's not gonna work out. So it's like, okay, at this point, like, you should be collaborating with other artists, or else you're gonna fall. Like, it's given the JT situation, because now JT is at the spot in which, like, she wants to be a bigger artist, but because she's shading the girls who could help her become a bigger artist, because she has fallen in line and become a lapdog, as that one lady has called her. Now she's kind of stuck in this space where she really can't, like, she's on her own, because she's not getting the full on support by the person that she's sticking by to really push her career the way that she should be getting her career pushed. And the same thing is going to happen to Ice Spice if she's not careful. And that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Cake Radio Show. If you're watching this on YouTube, I love you guys so much. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, I love y'all as well. If you want to listen and watch these episodes before they hit listening podcast platforms, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel at Cake Radio Show. Drop a like, drop a comment on your thoughts about Ice Spice, where you think her career is going to go, what you thought about the 2 singles, and what you think about these beefs that she's trying to do. And, again, if you listen to this on your podcast platforms, be sure to follow, give the show a rating, because that helps, and share with your friends and family. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.